the way I answered your question when you asked me last time if I could play that night, it didn't come out as well as I would have liked it to, because I think my response was not with you.
Yeah, I was like,
What?
oh, I was caught off guard.
And I was like crazy honest. And then we had to step aside and have a talk because I could tell it kind of hit you really hard.
What?
The way I said
Why?
it.
Why not? Was she on the no-fly list?
We're ready? All right. You started off, Layla.
Oh my God. I'm not good at starting it. You do it. Okay, I'll do it.
All right. Hey,
Hi.
you
Hi,
ready?
Vanessa.
Yeah, you ready to
Stupid.
you ready to fight today?
You guys
Did
are
you-
unmasked.
Did you
now.
fly?
Oh yeah, this is
we
your first
are
episode with us
unmasked.
unmasked.
Yeah. I'm
Oh my
so
God,
excited.
that's so
I was like,
fun.
the Instagram tease was real. You guys were like, no, not yet.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't like being edged, but I was in it. I was like, what is it happening?
It was
You
so
should
fun.
see her field.
Oh my God, I have so many people that are like, oh, I love your podcast, love the podcast, which is so fun. But like, I was getting that even before we unmasked, and they're like, wait, are you?
She
And I'm
has
like,
all these
Are you
pings.
she?
And the
I am
pings,
her.
The pings are
She's
like,
I.
hey, Layla, love the show. Keep up the great work. Just all these dudes trying to slide into your DM.
Yeah, someone said, I like how you put Brian in his place. I was like, match.
Okay. Whatever. Yeah.
But I'm so glad
and then
you're
one
here.
person was like, do you guys have an OnlyFans? We're like, no, bro.
Oh, we get that all the time.
Like,
Should.
I can't keep
know.
asking. Nah, man.
We'll post sexy
Nah.
pictures in our Discord sometimes, like in the Unmasked Project Discord. So.
Exactly. Shirtless.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, hi.
Hi.
Welcome. So I sent you a list of things to talk about today. I was like, let's just talk. It doesn't have to be about any of us, but let's just talk about some hot topics.
Yeah,
And
this
you
isn't an interview. We're just shooting the
Shot
shit.
them all down. You're like, I don't like any of those, right? But here's what I do want to talk about. And the first thing on your mind was no fly list. And
what does that
so
mean?
can you define no fly before we jump into it? Can you define it for people so they know what a no fly list is?
A no-fly list is kind of exactly as it sounds. It's like when one of the partners places somebody on like an off-limits list. And it normally comes from, I think a place of like insecurity or maybe past pains, past traumas. And I think sometimes it's merited, maybe like somebody crossed a boundary or someone's extremely disrespectful of a relationship, or particularly among new people who are just starting out and getting their legging. Well, and you guys have been in this for such a long time with your partners. Like, have you ever had no fly lists in your history with your partners?
I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Has it ever been placed on you?
No. And my husband has like dated people that I don't super like. And I mean, it can be annoying, but it's a me problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want him to experience as much love and pleasure as possible. And I don't have to be besties with them. And that's fine. And if I don't like them, it's usually because I see my character defects in them. And that's something I need to work on.
Mm.
Right? So no, I don't think there's ever been anybody that I've told him, no, you can't. Because also he's a smart guy and I
Yeah.
trust him. And if it's someone dangerous, I know that he's not going to do it.
I'll be honest, I don't know very many people who haven't. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you. Brian?
Brian.
Oh, 100%. There's a list.
Really?
Absolutely.
On both
there's a
y'all's
list.
ends?
Like to this day still? Was it more so in the beginning and then it's evolved?
Oh yeah,
or-
it used to be bigger.
Yeah.
It used to be bigger, and there's some people that were on it before that have come off. There's some people that were on it, came off, and are back on it.
Interesting.
And then there's some people that weren't on it that are on it now. For
Spill
sure.
the tea.
For
Like,
sure.
what are some of the reasons?
Sometimes it's trust. Like, man, I just don't trust this person, or they're not showing up in a trustworthy way. So what I didn't like about what you said in the text, right, was it was like, is there no room to grow past that? And I think that the growth, it's not just on the people who have the list, it's also on the person that's on the list in the first place. Because some people will be on multiple lists. And if that same person's across like 5 lists, is that about the people holding the list, or is that about
Both. It's got to be somewhere in the middle. You never know.
It's got to be
case per
somewhere in the
case.
middle.
Yeah.
And so generally when we have people on the list, we're not the only ones that have them on the list. So sometimes we will have, oh God, I don't even know how much I want to talk about that. Like how much I want to share about the list.
Are either one of
You
us
don't have
on
to
the
give
list?
specifics, but it could be like, I think it'd be helpful to understand. is it some behaviors, like to understand how much of it is from like the couple's end or how much of it is from the other person's end.
What do you mean?
Like, what are some trust, I think is a big thing, because I'll agree with that. If there's someone around who's like a pick me, for example, like there's a handful of pick me's in the community where they'll like only message the guy and like not really give respect to the girl. And I think like that I could see that person maybe being on some list where like there's a bit of apprehension there, just being like, oh, I don't know, like I'd love some more connection with that person or whatever it is. Or some people don't.
Well, also because
Is it
people don't know what their dynamic is, right? I'm just talking
mhm.
about you and your wife in this situation, but like they don't know that you guys only played together. So if they're only interested in hooking up with Brian, maybe they're just going to hit him up, and that might make your wife feel a type of way. But that poor person doesn't know that that's y'all's dynamic unless you tell them that,
Hmm.
So then I feel like they're a victim of being on this fucking list.
Oh, is that the case? You guys only play with people together?
Oh, you think that makes them a victim? I'm gonna come back to what you said. You think that makes them a victim?
It could be if you're not communicating with them that this is the way that we play and this is the way that we're in the space. And now you are on our no fly list. That's,
Hmm.
that seems not super fair.
Usually the no fly list for us comes up when one of us doesn't want to play with the other person's partner. So let's say, oh God, see, I can't even name names,
That's
right?
super
But
I
it,
common
can bleep
though.
it. I can bleep it.
but okay, you can bleep it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna cover my mouth too when I say it, so the
Yeah.
camera doesn't
Yeah.
pick it up. So let's say for a second, oh, with you know,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's
where,
a big one for
and
me
in
too.
that case, I actually play. It's even worse because I've played with her
Hmm.
Mhm.
and haven't played with him.
Hmm.
And then actually, you and I once were talking about uh,
Mhm.
Mm.
my wife played with him, and then they were trying to like set something up, and I didn't want to do it, and they kept doing it. They kept hitting us up. And I remember we were chatting and was like,
Mm.
"Man, I don't think they know or do I have to be explicit?" And then
Yeah.
you came back to me, you're like, "Yeah, I think you actually do have to say something because I don't think that they're aware of how they're coming off." And so for us, a lot when I think about our no fly list, a lot of it is that.
Hmm.
The other part is like there are oh God, I hate a lot of people who've been up on the no fly list recently are people who have gotten like STIs over and over again that we know
Oh, that's
about.
fair.
Mm.
And we're like, listen, I'm not trying to slut shame you or
Mhm.
make you feel bad because you keep getting it or because you've gotten it multiple times. But it's like one time is a coincidence. Like once you get it three times, like there is a habit or a pattern here that's going on
Yeah.
that I don't want to be involved in. You know what I
And there's
mean?
That's
there's a
fair.
couple people in the community where it's happened a couple of times recently, right? And it was just extremely frustrating, but in the same part, like one person who I'm thinking of in particular, maybe it's the same person. At least they're communicating it in the group chat.
Hmm.
We have no idea how many people are consistently testing, especially for those who really only test for parties. So then you could go months and not test if you're going, like when you haven't been to a party in a very long time. I don't know if we're okay to say that, but you haven't been to the party in a very long time. How often have you been tested? When have you been tested in the last 3 months?
We got tested a month ago.
Right. And then are you engaging with people in between or seeing anybody?
See, man, that's crazy. We have not been engaging at all,
Yeah.
right? And I think that is part of what the testing. So you've been throwing parties and you've been requiring testing,
Mm.
and that's actually part of the frustration about testing for us has been, man, we're not active. We don't want to keep getting tested. Like, there's no reason for us to get tested every 2 weeks. Like, there's for a while there was people wanted us all to get tested every 2 weeks because we're so active. It's like, dude, but we're not. Sometimes we're not. So I'm not going to go through that and like keep going to the doctor. So no, I haven't been testing because it hasn't made any sense to. Now, like the question really is, once we go play, or we're gonna go, let's say we wanted to go to a party in 2 weeks, should I go retest? I'm gonna have to because your standard is gonna be within the 2 week period, but it's almost like a waste of a test for us, you know?
Yeah, and it's I understand that where if you're genuinely not playing, you wanna make it to this party and you're testing, you're like, "Okay." But I mean, consider the amount of people where they're like, "Oh, shit, I tested positive," who wouldn't have otherwise known, right? Even if they did go to a party prior, we've learned so much about the incubation periods and secondary scientists over like, well, it depends on like the strength of the bacteria when it's transferred in this. And there's no telling. And I'm not doing it because I want to be a hard ass. Like I'd rather people be upset. They're like, I hate being poked for, a couple of minutes, but understanding that hopefully if something like it less passes through and more people become aware than it consistently being spread and we antibiotics won't even work anymore
But
at this
how much?
point.
I mean, you throw parties. How many? I would assume if people have something,
There's
they're
at
just
least 3 every single time.
and they were telling you about
There's
it.
about 2 to 3. They're like, "Shit, I actually came back, like, I popped." They're like, "I had to hop out of this one."
2 or 3 every single time.
Almost every single time.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And that'll communicate it, right? And then some just kinda, like, mysteriously drop off even after they've paid, and I'm like, "Oh,
Are
well,
they? Do they tend to be single people or couples, or
it's a mix of
is there
both."
any pattern? You can say
The
no. If you
only
can say no, if it's
pattern I know, I'm thinking. I think the only pattern that I've recognized is that it does tend to be among the people who are more active, if they've been to a party within a month.
Mhm.
right. I figured that. That's part of what we've been feeling is, man, we might be safer off playing with other people that aren't as active. And I don't think that that's
It's
necessarily true,
not.
but we feel that way. The numbers game tells us that, right? Now, this isn't why we haven't been playing, by the way. Like
Yeah.
we just been busy. Like there's
Yeah.
been other life stuff going on out of the country, like out of town and stuff like that. Haven't had the time for it. But when I do think about playing, like we're kind of recognizing patterns, and like that does add to the no fly list.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Are we wrong for having a no fly list?
No, I don't think it's wrong at all. I think I'm always just curious what it means per couple. I think sometimes it's either just a safety thing, and sometimes it's mostly more often than not, it's like fear based.
Mhm.
And for those where it's fear based, how often does that evolve, right? Because then you're switching from like, okay, the rule is you can't play with that person because that person feels uncomfortable. But what are they doing about it? Does that transition into an agreement where it's like, okay, why are you feeling weird about it? Why is this painful? And like digging in through that together as a couple to try to shift past it, not specifically necessarily for that person, but just where is it stemming from? It's never always usually that person, unless it's a shitty person, in which case they're probably not going to survive in this particular community for very long anyway. But, it's probably something else. It's probably they just want more connection with you or more communication or even a really tough work week, right? If you guys have been super, super busy and you're popping right back into a party and you haven't even had the chance to connect on your own, like
Right.
intimately, you're not going to feel as excited as when you go to parties regularly, see these people regularly. Like it's going to shift so consistently. So I don't know. I never really had that many no fly lists to begin with anyway. Like when I was in a partnership and this was kind of such a free for all and like not on both sides, right? Not always the most considerate way. We were just kind of like, like we'll talk about it later and figure it out later. It never got to a point where we were like, can't do this, can't do that. And so for those who do, I'm always curious about what that looks like.
Yeah, that's why I keep looking at you because I don't understand or super relate.
Look, I mean, look, here's the way I look at it. Um, all this shit is privilege, right? This is, um, I feel like I'm winning. If I have like a no fly list of a few people on it, it's not like it's 100 people on it. If I have a no fly
How
list
many people
of
are
a
on
few,
y'all's no-fly list?
I would say I don't know. Right now, it might be 10 people. So if you're talking 10
That's a lot
people
of people.
out of hundreds, though, like
But
who
why?
cares?
Let's talk about you, not your wife.
It
Do
doesn't even
you
matter.
have people for her, like men or women, on a no like you're not comfortable with her hooking up with these people that maybe she would like to?
Yeah, and it would be guys that consistently ask her to come play separately when we already said we don't.
Mm.
Right? So then like I don't trust that dude, so no fly list. So on one hand, you're like, oh, B, maybe you should get over that and move past that. But he could also stop asking her to do something that we already said no about. Right. Um, so
Do you ever give her a hall pass? I know she gives you hall passes. Do you ever give her one?
so here's the thing. We have gotten hall passes, but they've been like really, really rare and circumstantial, right? And then even within that, it's not like it's a full on hall pass situation. It's like I'm in Vegas, someone just happened to be there, go have some fun. Or I'm out of town and I'm trying to send somebody over there. Right. It hasn't been this full out, I'm not in town. So then go to Vanessa's party and do whatever the fuck you want to do. Right. That's just not where we're at. Like my wife and I are primarily a play together couple, and I'm actually fine with that. I'm not sitting here longing for a lot more. I think where it's coming to conflict, and you and I had a really interesting conversation once because the way I answered your question when you asked me last time if I could play that night, it didn't come out as well as I would have liked it to because I think my response was not with you.
Yeah. I was
And
like,
What?
oh, I was caught off guard.
and I was like crazy honest. And then we had to step aside and have a talk because I could tell it kind of hit you really hard
What?
the way I said it.
Yeah.
Why not? Was she on the no-fly list?
It's just that night, that oh, man, I don't even that night. I had actually talked to my wife and I had somewhat of some leeway because she was out at a black bachelorette party. She wanted me to have some fun, but she had given me a couple of names basically that she was okay with. Right. And so I was being honest. I didn't want to
No, I
say no.
respected that. Yeah.
And one of the other people was at your house.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to say no. And then she walks in and sees me doing something else. And so I was just being honest, but it came
Yeah.
off in a way where, if we can get into this,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. No, I
where
was gonna ask you.
I don't think it even triggered just the fact that I said it. It was like you had felt like you were on some no fly list and you were kind of hitting this,
Mm.
seeing this a couple of times.
Yeah, I think it had come up once prior to that, a couple months ago, and I think that one was a different situation. That was for more like political weird reasons than it was anything else. So that one wasn't necessarily a big deal. But the way the conversation happened was like super weird and awkward. I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, all right, people are allowed to have their no fly list. I know that that wasn't necessarily anything specific to me. It was like kind of like general broader situations. I think one, what caught off guard, right? Because I asked, I wasn't just like initiating. I was like, oh, are you allowed to play? And so I fully respect that you were honest. Like I actually really, really appreciate that. I think, after peeling back the layers, the reason that that caught me off guard and was so painful was that it felt like a silent indictment of my character, right? Where it's like I spend so much energy and time trying to be communicative and ethical and considerate to so many people in this lifestyle and not just even in my personal relationships, but sharing those tools and those learnings with like other people in the community or people who have questions or are curious. And so I felt like being put on a sort of what at the time felt like a threat kind of list without communication um felt like like again, just like a disrespect to like my character. Like you guys didn't really know me, and if I didn't know you guys so well and we didn't have the friendship that we did, I don't think it would have bothered me as much. But yeah, it's kind of where that came from for
Why
me.
wasn't she on the list?
Why wasn't she or why was she on the
Or
list?
why was she on the y'all's like the no fly list for that time?
Yeah. Was this after my birthday too, or
Mm,
before? I can't remember if it was before or after. Like we had all just hung out before then, and we've played in the past,
yeah,
right? So a lot. Um,
yeah, I go ham. I go ham for her, man.
I know she's the best.
I think that was
any
another reason I was so surprised because I was just I will gravitate to her like 9 times out of 10,
Right.
like between the both
I
of
know,
you.
and then I know I'm aware of this, uh,
He's just crying right
but
now.
you've also like shown up for us
Yeah,
in times where we're like need someone
yeah,
roll through on the motorcycle, right? I think though it was look my wife just has a preference with you that she wants to play with you together. And so for
Yeah.
me, I get to honor that. We still get to have fun. And it's a non-issue for me, right? Like um, but I think the issue or where it does run into tension in my relationship is where we feel like we keep getting asked. What she'll actually ask me is, do you think that that people are asking other couples to play separately as much as we feel like we're getting asked?
Probably.
often.
Yeah.
I actually feel like as an outsider, right, with regard to couples and like what we were speaking to earlier, where it's like the hotness ratio, like you're both very, very attractive. And maybe the people who are asking are couples who are asking, like maybe they feel more nervous about you. Like, I don't know, it's hard for me to say, like, as a couple, but like you guys are one of the like handful of people where I'm like, you guys are equally hot. So I think that's really interesting that you get a separate, like those separate requests. Is it from couples where they are comfortable playing with other couples, or do they only play with girls?
No, I think it's more like um if I'm gonna say a name right now, can you bleep
Yep.
it? All right, I'll cover it. All right. If he's out of town, are people hitting her up to come to the party by herself?
I don't know if that really ever happens, but
And
you're saying theoretically.
I
Yeah.
think that's more so what I'm saying is like is there a respect for some couples where it's like, hey, look, they play together and it's known they
But
play
you're saying
together.
if that
That's
would
their
happen,
thing.
I think that would 1000% happen. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know them that well as a separate unit, but I feel like they would definitely ask.
I'm curious because I haven't had that conversation with them either, right? And we haven't had a conversation like this on the podcast either where we're being this deep about
Yeah.
it. and because we haven't opened up with it, I probably don't know what other couples
Like, I would. Like,
are
if
going
either of
through.
them were like, "Oh, well, the other one's out of town," I'd be like, "Cool, come through anyway."
Right.
Like, if that's okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I think part of the no fly list is even the guy who I thought of keeps asking my wife to play separately. Like maybe he asked everybody's wife to do that,
Yeah.
and it's not about her specifically or not about our relationship in particular. But I think for us, is it maybe it's not even worth it for us to find out. We're just like, man, just put them on like the no fly list
Well,
for now.
that's kind of a follow-up question that we talked about a little bit too. Like, if you do know, oh, I guess even from your end, in that exact situation, do you care enough about that friendship or how it made you feel to talk to that person about it? Do you feel like they'd be receptive to it?
Sometimes no. I think
Sometimes as in
like
like it depends on the
it
person?
totally depends on the person.
Yeah.
I might not care enough to be honest.
Not care
This
enough
we
because 'cause you're, like,
have
offended and it would just be easier to not deal with it? Or
See, this we have talked about on the show. I'll notice patterns, but I'm not your coach. I'm not that close to you. I'm not one of your close homies. So
yeah.
who am I to it takes extra energy for me to go take that emotional risk with you and for what?
Well, maybe if you had more of these types of conversations with people that aren't your homies, then maybe people wouldn't be reaching out to you guys separately so much.
I didn't even necessarily think about it from a coach perspective. I thought about it as, like, you kind of, like, setting that not a boundary, but, like, there was a moment that you were disrespected. Maybe that wasn't that person's intention, but you could just be like, "Hey, man, like, I heard you asked, my wife to connect, and, I actually was, like, a little bit offended because I feel like we've told you once before, and so I'd like to understand the thought process behind that."
Yeah, so this has
Like
happened.
like like holding them accountable to some degree. Again, you don't have
Yeah.
to teach them, but you could just be like, "Hey, like, not blind."
Hmm.
Right, but I also think that if they've already stated it and it keeps happening, then is it now it's like now there's a conflict point. Do I want to go have this conversation from a conflict
When she
standpoint?
declines, does she say, "No, we only play
Oh
together,"
yeah.
and then and they still keep asking?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, then that's understandable.
Mm,
Even still, I'd be like, "Hey, listen, you've done this enough times. Like, you're really pushing boundaries, and I don't appreciate it." Like,
yeah, and that doesn't have to cause drama. And if it causes drama, that's just you expressing your truth. No one can be mad at you for that.
Oh yeah, I get all this, but I'm saying like I also have a choice to not want to deal with it,
yeah.
and for the person to be on the no fly list, I don't need to you know evolve past that. I think that like there's people that are on our no fly list about that are there for a reason and will probably stay there for a while, right? And then there's some people that will evolve past it. We had someone who was on initially they're on our no fly list, but after the first time we played with them, but then 6 months later, there was one night where my wife like wanted to do a pass and this person was at the top of the list. And so it can shift like based on the relationship. And I think there are misunderstandings.
So someone went on the fly list after y'all had hooked up with them?
No fly,
Why?
just like misunderstanding. But look, it's just not, I think we all kind of overstep boundaries without knowing it. Um, I know that we have. Like there was once where we were asking someone to do something because we thought it was cool because she let on that it was like fine, but it was a break in the agreements of the relationship and we had no idea. Now once we found out, then we never did it again. But once it's communicated and then it continues being broken, I think like it's
Like, it
fair.
was something that was being broken at, like, together or separately? I don't know if I
Um,
followed.
like let's say you're a couple and you only play together
Mhm.
and we're hitting you up and you're like kind of flirting back and forth like yeah it'd be so fun to come play but we
Yeah.
don't know that you have this agreement that you only play together
Mhm.
at that but then later Layla hits me up and be like hey I don't know why you're talking to Vanessa like this because we only play together it's like oh we didn't know had they
Well, that would
told
be
us
my
that
responsibility.
right
Yeah, that should have been my responsibility where I just been like, "Hey, by the way, like, it'd be hot if we all played together since we play." Like, I understand that part where it's like, it's kind of up to each individual partner in the relationship to uphold their agreement. The rest of us aren't psychic. We're not gonna know.
Right.
exactly exactly
Have I ever been on your no fly list?
no
Cool. That's dope.
is that what you've been worried about this whole time
No. No, I was just curious. Vanessa has.
Yeah. Still don't quite know why, but not gonna push
Is
it,
she
like you
still on the
said,
no
like,
fly list?
Vanessa's not on a no fly list Vanessa's just like
it's like a
when we're
conditional.
together. But if I was at an event without, I'm probably not going to be at an event without my wife in the first place. But I'm not going to play with you separately. But we've talked about this,
Mhm.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
I get to honor that agreement, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Oh. I just think it's interesting because I've never hit either of you guys up to really play separately.
You
Like
haven't.
I'm always so busy. And that's why I thought it was so surprising. I was like, oh, like I usually play with you guys together at parties. So I just maybe just didn't understand that part of the rule.
Do you think you're only on our list?
There are some people where I feel like there's a bit of like an unspoken kind of in like agreement in their side of it, right? Where it's like the girl might not be particularly social with me or like not want to know me as well or talk to me. Or the guy might either be a little bit avoidant or if he does talk to me, she'll pop up like really soon and the energy shifts. Like I'm in tune with those things, you know, and so I just if I don't know them super well, I'll just like back off and I won't put like as much effort to get to know them. Cause if with like one person in particular, like I know that they communicated that she has like some insecurities about her body and this and that. And it's like, you know, not to sound like not to like toot my horn, but like I can understand where it's like, especially now single, like that can be perceived as like more threatening. So it's like, oh, don't just try to steer away from her. Or like I know a couple of guys where it's like if they want to play, they're like, let me just check in with my partner first. Like there's a handful of guys that do that where I witness them not doing that with other girls. So just kind of like feel like it's part of the territory sometimes.
And why do you think they might be doing that with you?
Could be a ton of reasons. Again, I'd love for them to have some of these conversations and know, but if they don't want to talk about it, it's not my place to force them. It's not our job to coach people.
Has anyone like told you, been like, hey, we can't play. I want to play with you, but we're not allowed. Like, I'm not allowed to. Like,
I mean, Brian was kind of the first one besides one other person where it was like an interesting kind of like exception where it was like, oh, we had gone on like a date or two in the past, like years prior. But um it like I didn't even really know them that well. So it was kind of an interesting, like, oh, okay,
mm,
fine.
All
But
right, but
if you have some insights, please share.
yeah.
if I have insights, well,
Well, you were saying you were like, do you think you're I don't know, it sounds like you got some
oh,
tea.
I know you're on other fly lists,
Yeah.
on other no fly lists,
Yeah.
right? But I know this because you told me, and I
Well, I mean,
think
like even like you know, where it's like she loves me to bits and pieces, but like, you know, she'll be honest where she's like, I'm just, you know, like getting more comfortable with certain people and getting more in my own energy. And like she's become so much more alive at these events and these parties. But I think her partner being super respectful, like still like if he's engaging with me, he'll be like, before he moves forward, like kind of like a kid, he's like, let me double check. Like,
Hmm.
you know, and that's fine because she's communicated with me. Like they've been transparent about it, which I fully respect. It's the ones that do this weird side sweeping situation where I can tell and I'm extra careful and cautious about it and communicative. Like it happened a couple weeks ago with like a little milestone break with a couple who I know is usually like a weird situation otherwise, and like, you know, made progress with me specifically, at least at this event where like it was fine, where I know she was a little bit like uncomfortable with it at first from a place of insecurity, but then like was there present and a part of it and involved.
Have you dealt with that for a long time? Like women either being threatened by you or like intimidated or, maybe a little cold towards you for whatever reason?
Yeah. Even when I was partnered,
Yeah.
it would be a little bit tricky. But then again, it's like when the scales of like the hotness ratio with partners aren't always even, it can be a bit weird. Also, like if you're a like guy or girl in a couple and you see one of the people super hot, like, and this is something I hear consistently from people where it's like where insecurities will rise. Like if the guy just goes like super drooly, like, oh my God, or the girl does that, she's like, look at that dick, you know, and like reel it back a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's obviously not gonna feel great at first, but if you, you know, like be considerate of your partner and like be cool. Be cool about it. If
Right.
not, then all of a sudden there's going to be this energy
Hmm.
that's like directed towards them. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
that's such a good point. That's such a good point. That's just smart in general, though.
you would think. You would think, but I literally see guys do this sometimes, like out loud, and I'm like,
Stupid.
stop doing
Hmm.
substances, and I'm like, you need to chill. I'm like,
My answer is
chill.
always like, she's cool. She's all right. I will never be like, man, she's so fucking hot. Never. Why would I say that?
Why? Oh,
Why
because
would I say
you
that?
want to be respectful to your partner.
Yeah, once I
It's
say it,
like
I
a
can't
fact. There's
unsay it.
no way both parties don't know. So like,
Right.
just be cool. Be like, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
He's really attractive. I don't have to be like, damn, what?
You know, I
Exactly.
just we're
He's lit.
Ryan and I, like, our relationships are so fucking different because I will come home and be like, "Oh my God, this guy is my dream. Holy shit," you know? And my husband will do the same thing and be like, "Oh, it was the best sex ever." Like, he's straight up been like, "I had the best blowjob of my life tonight, and it wasn't from me."
I
And I'm like,
love those details.
"Go. Like, tell me all about it."
I think you really need to like find like the detailed people need to be with the detailed people and
Right.
highlight. But they're more off. I don't know if that's part of the opposites attract too, but like I have never had a partner that's enjoyed the details as much as I do. And so I'm always like scaling back and I'm like, I want to say everything. I
Nah,
want to
man,
tell you about
I would
you
hate
everything.
you
Like,
have
that.
to know your partner, and like I only say you
Yeah.
just say what needs to be said, and otherwise leave it
yeah.
alone,
I don't wanna
right?
have to hold myself back because I'm very excitable, right? Like, I have a big personality, and
Yeah.
so I don't want red tape, and I don't wanna have to be like, "Okay, reel it in," which is why I'm with my husband and why we
Yeah.
do the things that we do, because I don't think I'd be able to be as free if he was insecure or jealous or just, like,
Yeah.
isn't in that space, like, doesn't enjoy that.
But it doesn't mean that other people are insecure or
No, no,
jealous. They
no,
just
which is
don't want
why
the
I mentioned,
they just
like,
don't want the
it wasn't their
details.
thing. It's not their
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Um,
But maybe
that's
like
so
gauge what you're
funny.
going through. Like if you're going through a stressful time or you haven't like, you know, even if you've been together forever and you do those things normally and you're fine, if you're having a bit of an off night, week, month with your partner, like
That happens
think
too.
first.
That will happen
Because then
too.
it becomes those people's problem. They end up on no fly list just because you
That's
were
a And
fucking
that's the thing.
Right.
Like you asked if we play by ourselves. There's been occasions when we have. Definitely not right now though. Like we're working a ton. We haven't been
yeah.
going to
Yeah.
parties. Now's not the time to
Yeah,
do it.
exactly.
Right. So I wouldn't even bring it up. It's the worst time to bring
Hmm.
it up or to ask. Now you wouldn't know that if you're reaching out to us, but
Yeah.
I know it's the worst time to ask.
Yeah.
Was it like when you were in a relationship though,
Yeah.
were you on as many no fly?
I don't think as much, but I think that's because like me and my partner were like both attractive and we were both very like social and outgoing and friendly. Where I feel like when you got to know us, it was disarming. But I do also think that like there is a less threat, you know, for the guy and the girl, where it's like, okay, that's their person. So there's
Mhm.
no like gray area.
She's not gonna come and try to steal
Versus
my
I think
man.
I have seen energies shift slightly more, even with people who I've known for a long time because I'm single.
Mm.
Even though they know me, and I think that's what hurt about this situation as well, because I'm just like, I would never like disrupt your guys'
I
relationship.
know.
Yeah.
I believe that. All right. I'm gonna ask you another question. All right. You have to bleep this out too. All right. If we're single, would you date him?
No. But I want to be single. I'm not interested in being in a partnership. I also
I
just
know you're
think
not,
like
but if you were,
I think he and I have great there's a lot of people, so many people in this crew who I have good chemistry with, but not compatibility. I think he's wonderful. I think he's very considerate, very generous, very fun, but not my type.
look, that's what I think is honestly happening. I think that your natural flirtatious energy without a partner can feel threatening
It's the
because
same flirtatious energy partnered.
huh?
I feel like that was the same energy partnered though.
It was, but
Yeah.
you were partnered,
Yeah.
right? And now you're not. So then
Actually,
it's
I'm not even that flirty with men in particular. I feel like I'm more so flirty with girls. Like I haven't had much desire to play with guys, and I've told you that too. Where, um,
I believe you. It's why you 90% gravitate to my wife,
yeah,
amongst other things. Yeah, look
yeah,
at your smile. I get this, but what I'm saying is, I think your energy comes off a little different than I've never even known you in a partner. Well, that's not true. You were partnered. You went monogamous for a little bit,
mhm.
right? But I could see how
Oh yeah, you didn't know me in my lifestyle
I didn't.
partnership.
I
Yeah,
didn't. So that's why I'm legitimately asking because I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
hmm
But I could sense maybe you wouldn't date some of these guys if they were single, but I'm curious how many of them would date you if they were.
Oh, of course they would. Are you
And
kidding? Of
and
course they would.
and
Duh.
how much the partner is picking up on that. Like I don't think there's any if you went through the list of like your no fly, I wonder how much of it like so maybe you wouldn't date,
hmm
but maybe at some level feels that there's a possibility there.
mm.
That he would with her.
Because of what you look like and you're involved in the space and things like that. Yeah.
Well, I think it's
Where
just
he's not as
it's your personality. Like she has a very attractive personality and you're beautiful and you're very smart and I think that you have this type of kind of siren energy that is something that is incredibly attractive to men, women, anybody, right? And so I think that it's kind of a rare type of personality to have. And I think that personalities like that are celebrated in the space, but if you're not really secure with yourself, can be intimidating.
Yeah. And I've heard that word my entire life, even pre-lifestyle, right? When I just being social, like the intimidating thing. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't know what to do about that. But
Exactly.
what's interesting is that like the flirtiness isn't even like traditional girl flirtiness. Like there's a lot of girls in the community who are just like, ooh, like there's like a sexual siren energy. Mine truly with the guys is like homie fuckboy energy. I'm not even joking. I'm like, sup, dot. Like there's a few people in the crew where I'm like, what's up, what's up, what's up? I'm like, yo, she's hot. Like I'm not even joking. Where it's
Yeah.
just like super bro weird, obviously not sexy in that way, but like I just enjoy having fun and like connecting with the guys because I feel like I've had friendships more with guys than girls before up until like the last like maybe decade or so. I've really grown a connection with women, but I'm like way more like sexually flirty with women
Mhm.
than I am with men. There's not a lot. I don't think there's any guys really that I do that with in
Well,
the
do you think
group.
that's almost probably more like hot for the guys because you're a little bit more of a challenge?
No, I mean, if they actually put effort, I think they unintentionally feel like they're in the friend zone in that moment because then I have the complaint now where I'm just like, guys don't really hit on me. Guys don't really like move the needle to play with me at parties. Like I actually don't get hit on a lot with guys. That's probably partially my fault for sure. Being like, what's up? They're like, how do I turn this into a sexy conversation? like,
Would you want more
oh.
men to approach you?
Yeah, no, it's gotten
Really?
to the point where in the last couple of months, I've been like, damn, like this is actually really like kind of depressing that
Hmm.
I've like started like looking at lists and messaging people like earlier, like starting with people I know where I'm just like, hey, like, like even because most of them tell me afterwards, like, yeah, I would have loved to play with you, but you look so busy. You look so busy because I host
You do look
like
busy.
90%
You are
of like
busy.
the play parties in LA. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I'm absolutely not doing anything super crazy, like you have permission to like pull my hair, throw me against the wall, and start making out with me. Like I have
Mhm.
to say that ahead of time. And like a couple of times it's been successful and like really helped kick off like play for me that night. But it's not it's not easy.
Mm.
Normally, I must give off like a don't talk to me energy or something. Or I'm
But
like
see, all
stressed out
right.
all the
But see,
time
I think that's part of why people are intimidated by you though. Like they don't want to. I think they're actually scared to cross you.
to cross me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like as a guy, I'm like, man, I wanna go do that, but I don't want to go too far because you kind of like hold the keys to a bunch of like party lists right now. Right. So I want to come at you and be kind of like the aggressive that you like, but I don't want to go too far. And then now I'm like on a black
Interesting.
And
on
then
a
to be that
blacklist.
guy who was too much or too.
I can see it now. Like you and I have a history, so I
Yeah.
trust like I've actually done something to you once or you're like really upset with me, right?
Well, that's
And
because you knew ahead of time
but I for and I
that that was my
forgot. I
only
forgot.
I have
I did the
We had the
one
same
same
thing to her.
I
conversation.
have one like red line and I'm like, I don't like face slapping. I don't
He
just
did the
not
same thing to
like
me.
it. It enrages me. so,
Oh, I'm
but
establishing a pattern
but
here,
he
Bert.
immediately caught it. So we were at a massive play party, and then there was a situation that you were trying to get sorted out, and I had like just put my dick on, right? So
Yeah.
I was like strap on, like Dommy mode, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to like suck my dick? Help me out?" Because like everyone it was like closer to the end of the night, and everyone was tired, and I was like, "Brian, I've got my dick on." Like I can't help you. And he was like, come on, come on, come on. He was like, you're being so bad. And he does this little like, and
It
I
was
was
a
like,
baby tap. It
it was,
wasn't
it was, it
nothing. It
wasn't a
was
slap slap. It
nothing.
was a baby tap. But like my face, he was like, oh, he was like, and like it wasn't even just him. A lot of people in the community know that this is like my one thing, and multiple people were like,
There
like
was
there
a
was an
gas.
audible
It was
gasp.
a gas. It was a gas.
Mhm.
And then she hit me back.
I did. I was like,
She hit
I
me
didn't even
No.
back.
slap. I was like, oh, we forgot,
And then we had this
Brian.
moment
Oh.
where we looked at each other like both mad and we're like,
You know
fuck
what would
it,
have
we're
been
gonna
hot is
move
if we
on.
just angry fucked.
Honestly, that's
But
hilarious. What is your deal? Why do you keep slapping people
so
that don't want
look,
it?
I didn't know about you though, but you had told me and I did
You
it. And then
corrected
I
yourself
remember and I
right away. I'll
caught
say that.
myself. I was like,
Yeah,
my bad.
you did.
Right? I
You did.
did. I
Yeah.
did. Now, if you didn't know me though, that would be that I think that could have been an issue. That's what I'm saying. That's why like I'm saying as
If
another
I didn't know
guy, I
you
would
and I
be
didn't
afraid.
communicate it, I would have, I would have been like, hey, listen, that actually happens a lot. Like I think guys who are just like, if I like choking, there's this sort of automatic, and I even include that in my consent speeches now, right? where I'm just like saying yes to one thing doesn't mean you're saying yes to everything. Like
Mhm.
specifics, it's the S in fries. But if I give people some leeway. Like if it happens at first, I'm like, oh, that's the one. Like total energy change. I'm like, that's the one thing that's a no. They're like, oh, my bad.
Mhm.
Like that's understandable. But if they're consistently doing it, I'd like that'd be a sit down where I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
For sure.
Throughout my time, like the longer I've been in this, the more before we play, I'm like, okay, here's my boundaries. I don't like being slapped in the face. I don't want spit in my mouth.
Mhm.
'Cause I hate it when people are like, over your mouth. What? Who is that
I think
for?
that's hot depending on who it is for sure.
No.
That's like
I
a who is doing it for sure.
But like what you were saying is interesting. Like as if I'm gonna like kick you out of like society. Like I actually haven't done that. I've never done that. I've never blacklisted anybody, even people who I don't particularly enjoy.
Right.
Right. I don't hold the keys to every party, but a lot of people who like I have a conversation with people if I feel like others have had issue. And like I don't know why I'm the gatekeeper in some of that. Not everyone feels comfortable talking about issues, but like I don't really have a problem in uncomfortable conversations. And I also like educating and really want people to grow and learn because you're not going to know. We all learned so much going through this. So I'm going to like at least communicate, give you an opportunity. And if you fuck up again after that, then I'll be like, all right, like other people are going to recognize this.
Mhm.
So anybody who I have sort of had a couple of red flags about,
Mhm.
I have conversations with a couple of the other community leaders and say, hey, have you seen any similar behavior? I never make a singular decision on anybody. I always talk to some of the community leaders or people who I think are really good judges of character and are also comfortable having conversations with people.
Yeah. You're looking for patterns.
Yeah, exactly. I've
Mhm.
never just been like, don't like you out. Literally never, ever done that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think you saying that I think more guys will hit on you. Look, I'm not in their shoes, but I can
Guys.
see how, especially as a solo guy in the space, it's like, and it is intimidating. You don't really
Yeah.
want to cross people the wrong way because there isn't even uh at his parties will be like, look, if there's an issue between a male and a female, we'll handle it later, but tonight we're gonna ask the male to leave. It's just automatic. We're like, for tonight, we're just going to assume the male was in the wrong and send them home to create safety. And so I think that does like get into people, and then they become a little bit afraid to approach certain people, especially the more power they have or the more influence that they have. And so I don't know how much it is you. I don't know how much it is like positional
Mm.
where
Mm,
something like that happens, but it could be a mix of both, right?
Mm.
I suppose. I mean, isn't there more of
Couldn't
like an
believe it.
authority kink? Like, don't you want to fuck the principal? Don't you want to fuck the teacher?
Right.
Don't you want, come on.
Right.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, just impress her, you
Please
guys.
flirt with me.
Yeah. Impress her. She'll add you to VIP.
Girls are so special treatment.
I'm going to Kinky Comedy this Friday. I bought tickets.
I can't wait to see
I brought another. Oh, I'm bringing Stephanie Megan with Broke Girl
From Broke Girl Therapy.
Who
Oh,
was
I
friends
love
with
her
Twitch.
first.
She's hilarious.
Yes, she's amazing. This will be her first like lifestyle kind of event, so I'm getting her kind of warmed up.
I love that.
So we'll be coming. I'll see you on Friday.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, and this will be, so you did the San Diego Grand
Yeah, I did the San
Opening,
Diego, and then I did the one in LA last month.
which you
Yeah, we were both
loved.
at. You went on
Oh
stage on that
yeah,
one.
oh yeah, when I was
Yeah,
Asian
there's
twerk.
footage somewhere
So fun.
that we gotta get.
Yeah, follow Kinky Comedy on Instagram. We'll put it in the show notes.
It's a great way to like meet other kinksters in like a non-pressured environment. Yeah.
It's the best way. And we've had a couple of fans of the podcast go to Kinky Comedy as well. I introduced you to some.
heard. Yeah, thank you.
So it's a great way to kind of like get integrated kind of into some sexy communities. I don't think we have time for a rant. I think we probably
We
gonna wrap it
didn't,
up.
but we didn't talk about you.
Or pegging.
You mentioned your strap
know.
on, but we didn't get into that.
Yeah.
We will
No,
do.
we're gonna bring.
Or talking about being single and lifestyle, which is a big topic.
I know. We'll bring you back
But
on.
we just did. We talked. You're going through this, and you're single. The no. I think the no fly list is mostly like anyway.
Yeah. No,
a
I meant
single
yeah.
versus couple like interaction.
Yeah.
But
No, but I meant like being single by choice and it not feeling like you have to be like there's this expectation you have to find your person. Like, I'm just like some of us just want to experience this for ourselves. We don't want to experience other people all the time. Like we're learning like these last 6 months, really only 6-7 months, like this year alone, it's like the first time in my entire life where I didn't have to prioritize somebody else.
That's probably nice.
So it's like, it's a nice little break. And so it's interesting experiencing like the dynamics with couples and like being like anyway, I understand a lot of what you're saying.
no, well, it's the social pressure before this, we had a one-on-one episode last week and we were talking about the social pressure to even evolve as a couple, right? And should it move from like playing together or like first you play with girls, then guys, then
good one to
couples,
talk
then
about
this, then
too.
that. And I think also as a single person, we almost expect societally you're single, therefore you should find a partner
Yeah.
and then evolve.
If you're
And
not,
then
then there's something wrong with you.
there's
There's
something
something
wrong with
broken.
you.
I'm just
Why
like,
is she
no, there
single?
isn't. Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like, oh, she must be crazy, or there's something that, right? Or he's like a fuck boy, right? That's why he's single. And you could just be single and
Right.
enjoy being
Well, we're
single.
going to bring you back on because we've been doing this thing where we're kind of like bringing back friends. And because
We
interviewing
have
is
to see you
fine, but
unmasked.
yeah, so now we can all like have real conversations. So we'll do that.
Do I have to wrap up now?
Yes.
Fine. That's
So it
all the
says.
time we have today for everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. If you like seeing Brian, that's me, Layla, and Vanessa, then keep coming back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until we see you next time, try something or try someone new.